Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Sinead Says podcast. We hope you're all enjoying the new season. We are on podcast 77. Oh, 77. Oh my God. I've been seeing 777 everywhere. If 777 is your vibe and it's your angel number, there it is. 77. Episode 77. And hope you're enjoying the new season, new structure. We are still sticking to the structure. We are going good. I'm sticking to something. So this is good. So let's have a little weekly update. You are talking to me every week. I am your big sister every week. So I thought you would just give you a little update on my life. Like we know last week I had a little procedure. I had some cells burnt on my cervix, had a bit of a cervical erosion. Signs and symptoms to watch out for are painful sex, like pressure, although they are very similar to my other things like adenomyosis and endometriosis. Just thought I'd bring a bit of awareness. I had a little bit of procedure and I'm going through a bit of a flare up of something after the procedure. This can happen sometimes. So yeah, just another procedure in my life. And then it is my birthday week. I'm going on my birthday trip next week. My boyfriend surprised me with a ski trip. I'm so excited because do you know when something's just all planned? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. Like, he's got everything planned. He's like, I'll pick you up. We're going for dinner here. And then we're going we're going skiing and everything's planned and booked. And I'm just buzzing. I'm buzzing. Like, that's a girl's dream, isn't it? To just go somewhere and have nothing, not know what's going on and everything's booked. And I've never went skiing before. Got myself a wee ski suit. And I feel like it's really extra. I don't know. So I was like, you're not going to be getting lost down that mountain anyway. I was like, sweet. So yeah, going on a nice wee ski trip and for my birthday. So I was actually meant to be doing I thought the girls were trying to throw me a party because they were like, we're going to do a Barbie themed birthday party. It's like, amazing. And it's like, did I say this last week actually? Probably did. But anyway, so that was all a hoax. And I actually am going on a ski trip with Sam. Amazing. That's my weekly update. I'll tell you how that goes and all that jazz. And then we are going to get into our sponsor, which is BetterHelp. BetterHelp are the official sponsors of our podcast from day one, which aligns with me so much because I personally use BetterHelp. My team use BetterHelp and I've been using therapy and like this is the reason why I'm basically here telling you all the stuff about emotional intelligence and everything. I basically learn all my lessons in therapy and then I showed them here. So BetterHelp is an online counseling and therapy platform. They have an app and sometimes we have some difficult decisions to make and sometimes we need some advice and sometimes we need to just get through things with other people and with help, and it's a great platform and it's affordable and you can get 10% off your first month with betterhelp.com/Sinead. That is betterhelp.com/Sinead, and let us know your reviews. Put them into the Sinead Says podcast DMs as well because we would love to hear your reviews on seeing a therapist and everything about it. And we're going to go into the first section, which is, I was actually going to say what I learned this week, but like, it's like my whole, maybe it should be let's learn because like what I learned, and I'm going to show you what I learned. But anyway, let's go. All right, it's the let's learn section, and this kind of this section, or what I'm about to say, was triggered because somebody wrote me a comment and I wanted to explain the comment, and I thought it was a very good opportunity to explain the comment. So people do say to me, so when I'm talking about finding yourself, meditation, yoga, all these things like, self-development, right? I said something on my Instagram and was like, if you start now, you won't recognize yourself in like 3 to 6 months. And someone was like, why would you want to lose yourself? And I said, no. You don't lose yourself. You lose other people's opinions, other people's conditioned pattern that has been passed down from you, and you find your actual true voice within. And how do we do this? All right. So a good example is meditation. All right. So when you start meditating, your brain, like people start meditating and they go on YouTube and they're like, I can't do it. My brain won't stop. And I'm like, you just need to be taught properly. But anyway, so when you first meditate, it's like you go into meditation and you might not even hear the teacher. You may not even hear the guide because it's just thought. Like just dot, 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 thought, 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 thought. That's fine. That's really normal when you have been having all these thoughts roaming around in your head all day. All day, every day. We kind of have the same thoughts we have yesterday, today, and then they're never stopped. They're never questioned, nothing. They're just constantly rolling around in your head, and they are in control of you until you start meditating, all right? And when you meditate, you slowly, you have to come back, all right? You have to, because people think meditation is thinking of nothing and having a clear mind. I wish I could get that person and teach them how to meditate, because that's not how it is. Meditation is concentrating on one thing, and it's improving your focus, all right? So when you're meditating, you have all these different types of meditation. You have mantra, you have guided meditation, you have just all these breath meditation. You can meditate on anything, as long meditation basically means pointing your mind in one direction and not letting anything else in. So when you're meditating, and it's like you're meditating to a guided meditation, by the way, all right? It's like thought, right? When you realize that you're thinking that thought and you're not concentrated on the breath, meditation, or wherever you're at, it's like yoga as well. You concentrate on the body, so your mind flows. You come back to the body of where you're stretching or whatever. So you are thinking about all these thoughts, and you're like, oh God, I'm just thinking. Okay, come back to the guided meditation. Come back to the breath, right? That brings you back. That is exactly the name of the game. All right. You come back, and that's a rep, and that's a rep. All right. So when you first begin meditating, it's like thought. Once you start picking these thoughts, observing them, letting them go, and coming back to where you are, that is when you start to get more focus and better. So then throughout the time, it becomes thought. All right. Next one's like thought. And the next one's like thought. All right, you're always going to have thoughts, but the more you train your brain in this aspect, the more you're going to come back. But what are these thoughts? And how does this mean? How can you find yourself? So this basically is, you have to realize that all these thoughts that are running around in your head are sometimes just other people's conditioned patterns and thoughts. Like, you know, these thoughts of I'm not good enough, imposter syndrome, I shouldn't be here, thoughts of where I should be in life, I should be married, I should have a partner at this time, why are we not connecting this way, or why are we, you know, all these thoughts are from conditioned patterns from society, your childhood, anyone that's around you. It's constantly other people's stuff usually, and we want to find you. We don't want to hear where you should be, what you should do. We want to know what you actually like, what you actually want in life. And that is when, in these spaces of thought, there's these little spaces, and these spaces are the magic. Nothing may happen in the space, in the meditation at that moment, although you might have a realization in the shower, going for a walk. You just are more clear. And also, when you take time to pull out these thoughts, and you can do this in like CBT therapy, like lots of therapies do this, where they like question the thought, because otherwise these thoughts are just ruling the roost, and we want to rule the roost. We want to know that these thoughts are thoughts and we are not them, and we are observing them. And when we start to observe them, we can start to question them. You know, there could be random feelings of emotions that you want to get rid of, like resentment, judgment. And in meditation, sometimes these arise, and you be like, okay, why did I feel like that? Why did I feel like I wanted to judge that person? Or why do I resent that person? Because sometimes the name of meditation and all these self-development and reading books is to get rid of these negative emotions like judgment, resentment, because when you feel judgment and resentment in your body, these are low vibrations. These keep you on a downward pull. They pull you right down. And like sometimes my meditations are basically to get rid of these feelings and to replace them with gratitude, abundance, all these amazing things. So that's what I wanted to say about when people are like, I won't recognize myself, because you're actually going to be you. You're actually going to know what you like. You'll be able to sit with yourself and your thoughts and be like, what do I like? Why did I enjoy that? When you're running around, running on monkey mind, running on all these things, then you are doing everything for everyone. When you journal, because like when you sit down and journal and be like, what actually makes me happy? This is when I began my true path as well, like how to find myself. Everything that I was doing was for like how I looked and was perceived by society. Like I needed to finish university. It was so shameful to not do a uni degree, and it was so shameful to not go into a full-time job straight after uni. And I kind of went down the route of let's go to Magaluf and get drunk, and I just kind of avoided all my life. But it was obviously what I needed to do with my life because I needed to break out of the cycle. I was kind of stuck in the cycle of society until I started to question and introspect my own thoughts. And a way to do this as well, guys, is you can feel my energy. You can feel how excited I am that I can tell you stuff, and like I get so excited about telling you things that I know are going to help you. So see that feeling and that excitement and that energy, look out for it every single day. Look out for, and it could be in a small wee inkling, and it could be something small that will lead you to something big. So I loved fitness, and I thought I loved fitness. I thought I loved helping people achieve their goals, and I got my PT and I got my all that stuff. And what I realized, when I questioned each day of my life and journaled, it was like, okay, I love helping people. Don't know about the whole fitness thing, even though I love fitness for myself, but I don't like telling people how to work out. I like people to more like, I like to be where I am right now. That's what I like to do. And I had to question that all the time. And that kept getting me. It's this introspection of your own brain. Get excited, guys. Get excited about finding out who you are and like looking for these wee bundles of joy. And in the Brave Way 21 day meditation course, we do a meditation called Following Joy. And this is like so crucial as well, because we go through these motions of, if you actually look out, and this is good for your journal as well, you don't have to just meditate on it. Like if you look at like your career, what brings you joy in your career? Like what parts of it in the last few years have brought you joy? And you'll look back at that and you'll start to like pull things out. Like maybe what brings you joy is going into the office and laughing with loved ones. Maybe it's being a leader, or it could be like giving advice to people. It could be actually the creative work that drives you and makes you feel joy. Everyone's different and has different tastes, so have a look at that. And even in like your relationships, like what brings you joy in relationships? Like I love talking deeply. I have those connection cards, guys, and Sam was like, no, I can't deal with them. I'm like, pull a card. If he's playing Wordle, right? If he's playing Wordle and he's watching TV and having a conversation with me at the same time, I'm like, you're bored, you pull the card. And he's like, oh, I love that. And then we start talking, and then we start like talking really deeply and getting really close, and you feel really close and stuff like that. And like, when I look for joy in my relationships, it's usually not sitting watching TV, although Love Island is very enjoyable and it brings up lots of good conversations as well. So things like that, like actually following your own joy and being introspection. So like now I get really excited. Because you're going to find all the wee things that bring you joy and give you this energy in your tummy. That was one thing I learned today. Here's another thing that I learned, and I just wanted to address it because I have spoke about this before, and I just thought I would readdress it, not on my podcast. I think it was on my Instagram story, because it was and there was these studies on depression. I've just seen this on Shona Virtue's Instagram. Love Shona Virtue. She has such great content, and she was doing they were doing a research project in her psychology class over behavioral action, and about like behavioral action in terms of like being in depression. And the study came out that when we are depressed, we are less active, and when we are less active, there's less opportunity for rewarding and positive things to happen, and can lower our mood. And a step forward for this is behavioral action, and behavioral action has been tried and tested and researched into helping depression. So behavioral action is like getting up in the morning, right? Changing your behaviors and actions, and getting up, and this kind of reminded me of how I feel when I wake up early in the morning, although I absolutely cannot cope when that alarm goes off. I'm like, no, I want to cuddle up. You know what I mean? And I've been getting up because my friends go to the gym at this time, and I just really wanted to make a change in the new year. I wanted to just go to the gym and get, a good routine going for work and everything. It makes so much sense. And it made so much sense to me because I felt so much happier getting up earlier. And there's like wee moments in the morning. Like I get up at 5:20 Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So those are the 3 days I go to the gym. And you know, so does my boyfriend. So it's easier because he gets up as well at those times, and that's fine. But when I go to the gym, there's more, when I go get up that early, there's more opportunity for positive reinforcement throughout the day. And like the simplest things, having an interaction in the coffee shop with someone actually makes me so happy and gives me positive reinforcement. So if I don't get up early and I just go straight to work, there I'm going in and I'm not, there's less chance of positive things happening to me when I get up at the last minute. And that is why like getting up early has been proven to be a push forward for behavioral action in terms of, you know, the reduction of depression in this research study. So yeah, getting up early, there's more. And there's like the other day, all these birds came at us and I was pissed myself laughing. And I was like, this is what it's all about. That's a funny story now. All these birds attacking us in the morning. I can go tell people that. And like, it's a positive reinforcement. Somebody was really nice to me in the shop. These things are so important for your mood. So the earlier you get up, there is more opportunity for positive reinforcement. And I think that if you're feeling low and you have a low mood, this is your motivation. Up you get the set the alarm, maybe not 5:20 because 5:20 is a wee bit early, and that's more of an Australian thing. Australians just get up at that time. They have like a sunrise and all that, blah, blah, blah. But you know, if you're someone who gets up and straight to work, and you're having like aspects of low mood, then, you know, getting up early, behavioral action, taking action even though you don't want to, can really increase the positive things that happen in your life. And I just thought that's a lovely thing to learn this week and take with you. Now, next week, I have something. I was like, am I going to get this out this week? So basically, I was thinking about doing watching out for toxic people. So let me know in the They Say section or when I put up a question box about the podcast that in these psychology books, there was a section of types of toxic people, and it gave me all these types of toxic people and what to watch out for. So I was thinking that could be next week. You know, I love a bit of stuff like that. But anyway, so let me know in the They Say section. And yeah, next section. All right, quote of the week. And the quote always sparks on conversations. So we love the quote of the week. Oh my God, I'm just realizing I'm so loud. And Sinead is next door. She's probably like, this girl is crazy. She's sleeping because she is on night duties. I would love for you to meet my roommate Sinead. We are like two opposites who are the same. I can't describe it. She is so amazing, and she's so funny, guys. I would love for you guys to meet her. So I might do 2 quotes because I feel like I was reading books. So I'm reading A New Earth again. Fantastic book. And I know it is hard to read. It's a bit of spiritual. There's lots of stuff on it, but when you get into it, it has taught me so much about gossiping, complaining, the ego. What is the ego? How can we get rid of the ego? And how can we live better? And cracking book. And he describes the ego. I think the ego is a topic in itself, but to get rid of ego means you can live freely. The ego cares what everyone thinks. The ego wants to feel superior. Whilst when you let go of ego, you realize that you're not superior to anyone or inferior. We're all the same human beings, and we're all living in. And then he always talks about this is actually a good quote. Instead of overlooking unconsciousness in others, we make it into their identity, and it's about resentment and how we can hold resentment for people. But instead of just overlooking the fact that they are unconscious and they don't know, they're not aware enough to understand that these things hurt. And it's a good way to think of, people who hurt you. For me, getting negative comments, troll comments, I could sit there and be like, oh, they're so annoying. They don't know me. They don't know, that's a lie. But instead, of making it into their identity and having resentment in my body, because the whole point of, awakening and all this is letting go of resentment and trying to live freely. And so instead of me looking and resenting all these people or things that happen in my life, I can just see it as unconsciousness and see it as unawareness and see it as it's no fault of their own, that they don't know that they don't know. And this is what I always do as well, guys. It's such a good tip. If you feel like someone is like, you feel resentment towards someone, you feel like someone is doing you wrong, do love and kindness meditation. Like, it is the hot diggity. It is the best and like I did it every day for a week there when I was feeling a bit low. Love and kindness meditation is basically giving other people love and kindness, especially people who have did you wrong. Giving them love and kindness takes away their power. And sometimes I just say at the very end of the meditation, I wish them awareness that like if they've hurt me, that they know that they've hurt me and they can understand the awareness, and I hope that they can feel it. That's literally it. That's what I do. That's why I'm so happy all the time, I think. Okay, so this is the quote of the week. I don't know how I ended up with the other quote of the week. Okay, so this one's from a New Earth. You might say, what a dreadful day, without realizing that the cold, the wind, and the rain, or whatever condition you react to, are not dreadful. They are as they are. What is dreadful is your reaction, your inner resistance to it, and the emotion that is created by that resistance. In Shakespeare's words, there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. I love that. Doesn't that make so much sense though? Like, we always say like, this is bad, this is good, this is bad, but it just is. And it's our thoughts and our perception. Like, a good example is if I got paid a few grand, right? That is so good to me. Whilst a man who he gets paid millions of pounds all the time, that's like not good for him. You know what I mean? It's my perception of it. It just is. So we need to look at our perception. Like, the weather's bad, you know what I mean? Like, we can sit there and be like, oh, like, but it's our perception of it. It's only the thoughts that make it so. I love that one. So cute. We are on good timing because I've been trying to keep these quite like low key and like not low key, but like I didn't want to make them an hour. I want you to be like, let's get Sinead on. She's going to give us some motivation. She's going to give us some advice. And then, 40 minutes tops. 40 minutes tops. So we have hold on. All right, in the Sinead Says podcast, now we move into the They Say. Although I did get a message, someone was like, Sinead, it doesn't come off the tongue. And I was like, I know, it really, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that, sorry. It really doesn't roll off the tongue, they say. So someone suggested, she sent me a message and she said, so yeah, Hannah said, I love the new series and so genuinely happy to hear you happy, very cute. I have a suggestion, but maybe it's silly. I feel like the section you've called They Say is good, but the title They Say doesn't have a good ring to it. Also, since the people are sending in stories and are listening, would it make more sense for it to be You Say? Or I was actually thinking about calling it Sinead Shares, as it's where you would share other people's stories. Sinead Shares. I don't know, guys, let me know in the comments of the podcast or the They Say section when I put it up or to the Sinead Says podcast. Sorry, I got itchy nose. No. Kyle keeps telling me that I keep itching my nose. And what is that? Why do I always itch my nose? Sorry, Kyle. And he was like, sorry, if I gave you any feedback for the camera, like you're always itching your nose. And all I want to do right now is itch my nose. But you know what? I don't itch my nose in everyday life. Only when I'm doing this. Is that weird? And when I'm like on the phone, because he said you're always itching your nose on the phone too. Okay, so we have a question. Oh, okay. Let's go. OMG, your podcast is helping me heal so much. Love that. Sorry. I was with my partner for 17 years from we were 16. Wow. Married for 5, 2 beautiful sons, and he cheated on me. No, I can't. I want to do a whole podcast on cheating, by the way. The whole human behavior behind cheating. That's a different level. Cheated on me for a year. I gave him so many chances, but now I love myself so much. He will never get that chance again, and I know my worth. Smiling from ear to ear. It's so cute. I've started dating again and my biggest fear is self-sabotage and projecting past problems. This new fella is so nice, so I really don't want to mess it up whilst keep healing myself. I'd love your take on this. Thanks in advance. Girly. Okay. First of all, go you. I am loving, like I'm smiling because I just know that this is such a vibe. I just feel like when you're in a cycle of low self-worth and your partner is cheating, doing all these toxic behaviors, you think that you're like connecting to this love, but it's actually your self-worth is so low. You depend on this person for the love. So it's constant back and forward. People will write in my inbox, Sinead, I need to get my boyfriend back. We've broken up, blah, blah, blah. And I go, okay, what happened? Blah, blah, blah. Cheated on me, did this. And I goes, you want them back? I'm confused. And it's usually because it's like a lack of control and a lack of self-worth. And it's like, I need him. But when you look at the qualities of a human being that you want in your life, then, and that doesn't equal it, and then you know that it's a self-worth problem. And that self-worth problem can be solved in so many different ways through like introspection, meditation, therapy, you know, the jazz. Also, speaking of therapy, or speaking of meditation, if you want as well, remember that the 21-day meditation course, designed, written and recorded by me, is, you can have 10% off with Sinead Says 10. That means it's like 38.89, 21 days of meditating. Every day you get a different meditation, and let me know what your thoughts. We have great feedback. So don't want to self-sabotage. Here's a good thing that stopped self-sabotaging me. Okay. So I personally have been cheated on. That really downright traumatized me, like to the point of had a lot of suspicions for, I just had a lot. It's really horrible when you're traumatized from being cheated on and you go into a new relationship. So you think, you know, when you're saying there, self-worth, self-love, love myself, everything's amazing. I know that feeling, and you're like amazing. You get into a new relationship, bang, triggers, self-sabotage, come out everywhere. And this is why therapy is so good as well, because you can help with your triggers, because sometimes acting with suspicion can be very hard on your partner as well, especially when they're being so good. So this is how I like to think about it. All right. You have to understand, first of all, understanding when you're triggered is the most important, because without understanding that trigger, you get panicked, you go in defense mode, you shout at them, and sometimes it can push them away. So what I'd like to think about is let's think of two people, okay? And they both have, their partners are late for dinner. They haven't texted them back in like a few hours. They haven't come after work. Maybe they were out for a few drinks after work or whatever, and this person hasn't come back. And there's two scenarios when you're triggered. So one thing that I've noticed as well is that when situations like this arise, triggers do come in full force, especially after being cheated on. And they came in full force for me, and I was in therapy. So here's all the lessons from my therapist. And when I was triggered, for example, if he goes out and he goes on like a long weekend, you're like, oh my God, what if he does it? What if he does it? What if he does it? And one thing that I realized is that a person's going to do it if they're going to do it. Treating them with suspicion can really throw them away. So if that person who's late for dinner and hasn't texted back and he comes through the door, there's two ways you can react, right? You're already in your trigger. First of all, recognize you're in your trigger. When you're thinking, oh my God, what is he doing? What if he's doing this? Blah, blah, blah. Recognize that you're fully in your trigger. Take a few deep breaths. And there's two ways you can treat him, right? You can treat him fully in the trigger when he comes through that door. Where have you been? What have you been doing? Give me your phone. Who have you been texting? Acting with suspicion in a trigger can really pit someone back. Like that can really sabotage the relationship, because that person has not done anything wrong at this point and you have absolutely no evidence of it. All right. So, and this is a scenario, you have no evidence and you can act with suspicion. And what happens then? That person is getting annoyed. They are feeling helpless. They're getting pissed off at this point. They're like, what? I can't be dealing with this, like this trust issues, blah, blah, blah. And you act with suspicion, or you act with compassion. You recognize that you're in a trigger, come through the door, you greet them, you ask them, oh, I actually was a bit worried because you never text back. Where have you been? And you can just act with complete compassion, like that person has done nothing wrong, because you have absolutely no evidence of them doing anything wrong. And when you act with compassion and love, the person usually is like, oh no, sorry, I was just like, my phone died, it actually fell at work, it's been broke. There's always, you know what I mean? Unless you have full on evidence of something happening, like you shouting down the door at them can really damage the relationship. So please don't act with suspicion just because you've been in a past relationship with cheating. And this is why therapy is really good. And just understanding when you feel that arousal of like the trauma coming up, like you can feel it, your hands are sweaty, you want to pounce, you know. And this comes out a lot when people are drunk. You know, people fight when they're drunk whenever they have trust issues. And just know that you love yourself by the sounds of it. This person seems so good. You're not going to let this ex ruin this relationship for you. You've got this. You're going to act with compassion at all times until full evidence. And you're going to give your full heart. And hopefully you're going to live happily ever after. Okay, next question. So, hi Sinead, absolutely loving the new series of podcasts you're smashing it. The podcast has got me through some difficult times within the last year, especially going through a breakup and learning all the things that come with being single again. Recently, I've seen such a pattern in my thinking regarding love and relationships and would love to hear your insight. Ever since I've been single, I go through stages of being so happy that I'm single and then to complete opposite end where my past relationship and future relationships are running through my head. It's almost like I'm longing for a relationship I don't have. And while I do love and cannot wait to be at the stage of life again, I also don't want to feel like I am always looking into the past or the future and missing the present moment and enjoying these early years of your early 20s. So what I'm going to say, also she said, congratulations on your relationship, so good. Okay, what I'm going to say in this is like sometimes like there's this perception on Instagram or they're like, single life, be yourself, find yourself. And I get that. That's a big, amazing time of your life. But also, please don't go mad at yourself for actually like, you know, wanting to be in a relationship and wanting to have a partner because we are wired to be together, you know? So don't feel bad because I think sometimes it's the belief of this is your single era, hot girl summer. Although hot girl summer sounds fun. But, so there's that aspect of yourself of, you know, don't feel bad for wanting to be in a loving relationship. You said you love and you are craving that as well. You know, like it sounds like you are craving that, but also like you're like, I don't want to lose the present moment and my 20s. Now 20s, being single in your 20s is fabulous. And I'll tell you this from someone who is 31 this month and next week. Who's 31 next week, that you always talk about your single stories. You always talk about your single stories. You always talk about those silly dates and everything, and they're continuously at the dinner table. So don't miss out on them. And also, when you're dating, you can truly find out what you want through dating. You find out what you like and what you don't like, and you build this picture of who exactly you want. If anyone's listening to this and they know they have been in previous relationships before and they're in an amazing relationship now, what happens in that amazing relationship, like the person you're with now, he's kind of a collection of what you don't want from the past. Yeah, he usually is a collection of what you didn't want and what you don't want from those past relationships. So remember that all these things are there to, you know, form your desires of what you truly want. Like you could go out with someone and go on a few dates and he could be really into sport and he could be only see you every so often. And you'd be like, I can't really do that because you'd be like, I like to see my boyfriend more than once a week. Like if and then you're like, okay, maybe I won't go with someone who is, you know, professional athlete or whatever, who plays sports. Or you could be with someone who is really, really, really like not dependent on you, but like spends a lot of your time with you. And you could be like, I don't really want that. I want someone to have their own hobbies and their own happiness. And then you kind of move on and then you kind of just bring this, you just rocket your own desires by dating. So don't forget that it's all a learning process. And also it's a numbers game sometimes, like, you know, going out on dates can be a numbers game of what you like and what you don't like. So don't be so hard on yourself for the both and enjoy yourself right now and the right person will come along. We have another listener who is in a relationship. I'm in a relationship and everything is going well. Sometimes I want to communicate about and talk about meeting his needs and mine, but it's not because of something that's upset me. It's just me in some sort of way to delve deeper into learning about one another. And if we feel something could be changed. How do I bring up this kind of conversation? Because sometimes I put it off and say, oh, I'll do it another time because everything is going well. This is so important because relationship reviews are so important. We never actually do them. So this is why setting aside nights for date nights, and I'm not saying go out and spend all your money every week and go for dinner. It's you and him time, or you and your partner's time, and you have this time, no phones, and you have this weekend. And it could be anything. You could be playing a card game. You could be painting. You could be out for a walk, all right? And that walk, and I'm not saying you don't have to do this every week. Every few weeks, you know, have this conversation about needs. Now, obviously, you know, you guys know I use Fanos, all right? And I've been using Fanos for years and it's such an effective communication tool. And when you say it, so I'm just going to quickly run through Fanos again if you don't remember it from previous podcasts. Fanos is feeling, affirmation, need, ownership, struggle. All right. Quick fan-offs with your partner can actually be so beneficial. And it's so mad because sometimes when you say it, you're like, should we do fan-offs? I know it's kind of like, I don't know. After it, you're so close. You get so many things met. And I can even show you examples of me and Sam's fan-offs. I won't share you everything, but like, first of all, I'm just going to give you examples. So feeling, affirmation, need, struggle. Feeling, affirmation, need, ownership, struggle. So a feeling, you both have to say a feeling. You can actually say something positive. You can say, I'm feeling insecure. Like you could say, I'm feeling insecure. You know, it's Christmas time. I've had a lot of food. I'm feeling insecure in my body. And that's his opportunity. Oh my God, no, you're the sexiest woman alive. Blah, blah, blah. Then all that is like closed up. You both feel amazing, blah, blah, blah. And also that partner knows that you're feeling insecure. So also like for example, like maybe you're not having sex that week or that few weeks because you're feeling insecure. There's an opportunity to tell that, all right? He can say something along the lines of, I'm feeling, it can be positive. He can say like, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed with work or anything like that. It's an opportunity for you then to just be like, oh my God, anything I can do to help. All right. Oh, the next one is FA. Affirmation. You tell them something good that they've done. I can say, I really appreciate that I didn't have to book anything for my birthday. How amazing. I've never had that before in my life where someone has just been like, I booked that. Like, that's amazing. Me affirming that knows that I appreciate him and also could spark him to do it again. Like that, you know, affirmation. I think need is the most important one because like sometimes you need something and you could say something like, I need more intimate time, like me and you, without our phones and like blah, blah, blah. And that's very important for me because I'm surrounded by people all day. My boyfriend's surrounded by people. We're surrounded by friends. Like we're such a friend of people where there's just people around all the time. And it's important for me to spend time with him alone. And because he's never been in a relationship before, like he probably doesn't understand that. So I say that there and then. And then he's like, oh my God. And now how good is this? He listens to everything. It's so good. So since I said that in our fan-offs, every time we go to do something or plan something for the weekend, he's like, hey, I'm going to plan this at the weekend. Would you like it to be me and you? Or would you like, invite for people? How thoughtful is that? He remembers everything that I say. And then I'm always like, open invite. We love our friends. But anyway, and then we have our me and you time. But you know, that's how it goes. Ownership could be like, I'm actually really sorry that I never got, I don't know, I can't remember what our ones was. So you could be like, oh, I'm really sorry that I never showed you. Because sometimes I think one of my needs as well was like, I need to kind of know like the plan throughout the week. Like Sam would be like coming over randomly, like, hey, what are you saying? Do you want to come over? I'm like, I kind of need more time. I need to know like what your plans are and our plans are. So like, I know that I go over these days or I go over that day so I can make my plans and stuff like that. So that's another need. And a good one for him was, he said, I need more. Oh no, his mom was over and he was like, oh, I need to prioritize my mom in case you think I'm not prioritizing you, you know, because we would go on our wee dates and stuff. So I wouldn't be able to do that when his mom's here. And I was like, oh my God, amazing. You know what I mean? And like, you know, I could have took offense if I didn't see him or he didn't take me anywhere. I wouldn't like really, but at least I knew that was his priority and I respected that. And then ownership. Yeah. And sometimes you don't have anything to own up to and that's fine. Struggle. You can say like, I'm struggling with money. Like, you know, you could say I'm struggling with workload. I was like, I was struggling with productivity and like going to the gym and feeling motivated. And he's like, do you want me to get you up and we'll go together? We'll go for a run? I'm like, yes, amazing. And I know that men are like, oh no, here's the communication, but that is so powerful. And see, once they get onto it, they get exactly what they need. Like they could say things like, I need more intimacy. I need more effort from you. I need more me time. They could need more me time. I need to, you know, they need to do their thing. You know, I need to be able to watch football on this day. Like they can say that. They can. So yeah, that is a great communication tool for them and you. And honestly, it does not take long. And sometimes it's in and out. And sometimes you get really deep. And then also throughout the week when you're feeling something, sometimes you want to bring it up, but you feel awkward bringing it up. It's like, there you go. There's a veto. You can't get annoyed because that person has to say how they feel. They have to say what they need. Honestly, it is such a good tool. I use it every week. Not every week. That's a lie. Every time we kind of have a date night or like just me and him or like when we're lying in bed, sometimes it's quick. Sometimes it's a wee bit deeper. Sometimes it's quite And like, sometimes it's so loving. It's like, I feel so happy. I am so content. You are so adaptable. Like, sometimes it's amazing. So yeah. And guys, please, please, please remember to subscribe to the podcast, because then you get notifications every week that they're coming. Please let us know in the They Say section, or if we want to change the name, Sinead shares. You say. Sinead says. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And yes, so yeah, that's all I've got for now. Let me know what you thought of the episode in the comments on the reels and stuff like that. Like, we love the interaction because it obviously helps with the sharing of the podcast. And if you want to leave a review, thank you very much.